Good day everyone, my name is Bernard Alec D. Sumera and I'm from BPED 3A. And for today in our video discussion, we are going to tackle the overview of curriculum, which includes first, types of curriculum, second, major foundations of curriculum, third, foundations of curriculum, fourth, curriculum conceptions, fifth, the elements of curriculum, sixth, curriculum sources and influences, and last is curriculum design. But before we move on, I would like to present two definitions of curriculum for us to have an understanding or for us to have a review of what curriculum really is. First definition is curriculum as a list of subjects. So this definition suggests that curriculum, andito yung mga permanent subject or yung mga traditional subject na ino-offer ng school from basic education to tertiary education. Like math, language, music, science, at iba pa. And tayo bilang college students, aware naman tayo sa prospectus, di ba? And dito natin makikita lahat ng mga subjects na dapat nating i-take bago natin matapos ang isang specific na program. So that one as well is an example of curriculum. Second definition of curriculum is curriculum as a learning experience. So this definition suggests that curriculum includes curricular and co-curricular activities as well as academic and non-academic activities, and also yung mga learning experiences na na-encounter ng students both inside and outside the school. And lagi natin tatandaan na lahat ng mga activities na sinusupervise ng teacher or ini-implement ng school sa loob man or sa loob ng eskwelahan are still considered as an curriculum. So based on those definitions, we can say that curriculum is the total learning experiences of the learners in the school. So this time, I will present the different types of curriculum along with Ma'am Roswell Grospe. First type of curriculum is recommended curriculum, or it is also known as ideological curriculum. And almost all curricula that are found in schools are recommended. So this is a name given to a curriculum construed by educational stakeholders at a national level. So sa basic education, the curriculum is being recommended by the Department of Education. And on higher education naman, it is being recommended by the Commission on Higher Education, or also known as CHED. And while on vocational education naman, it is being recommended by TESDA. Recommended curriculum is more general and it is primarily consisted of policy guidelines. So, lagi natin tatandaan na yung recommended curriculum is nanggagaling siya sa pinakataas at ibinababa siya to be followed, to be implemented, to be revised, and to be innovated by the teacher themselves. Second type of curriculum is written curriculum or enacted curriculum. So this is the curriculum that is sanctioned and that is approved for classroom delivery. So it includes documents that are based on recommended curriculum. And here in curriculum, what happens is that it translates recommended curriculum into more specific learning outcomes or nagkakaroon ng practicable plan here sa written curriculum para yung mga malalawak na ideals or goals ng recommended curriculum ay maging more specific para makonsider yung kung ano talaga yung nangyayari sa field. Examples nito ay yung course syllabi, yung mga modules, yung mga books, yung mga teacher learning plans or teacher lesson plans. So, lahat ng yan is written curriculum. And third type of curriculum is the taught curriculum or yung operational curriculum. So, na-recommend na yung curriculum, nasulat na rin siya, naplano na rin. So, this is the time for it to be implemented or taught. So, parang yung sa lesson plan, which is a part of written curriculum, so, itatranslate na siya sa teaching scenario, then this becomes the taught curriculum. And yung taught curriculum, nakadepende siya sa teaching style ng teachers and sa learning styles ng learners. Kaya, I believe na yung mga teachers, hindi dapat sila pinagkukumpara dahil magkakaiba sila. They have different they have different teaching styles, they have different teaching manners, dahil iba-iba sila ng strategy na naka-base or nakadepende on their students' potential and diversity. So, yun ang taught curriculum. So, now I will give the time to Ma'am Roswell Grospe for the continuation of different types of curriculum.
Good day everyone. Again, I am Roswell Gail S. Grospe and I will continue this report. The next type of curriculum is what we call supported curriculum. This is described as support materials that the teachers needs to make learning and teaching meaningful. So, all of the aids that the teacher would use to ensure a better teaching and learning process, and all of them are part of this curriculum. For example, the books, worksheet, and non-print materials like PowerPoint presentation, educational videos, and other electronic illustrations. And also includes facilities where learning occurs outside and inside the building, just like the science laboratory, the gyms, and the plaza. Next is we have the assessed curriculum. It is very much needed so that the taught and supported curriculum will be evaluated to find out if the teacher has succeeded or not in the learning process. And this curriculum, all of the evaluative tools is needed that we use in the students, like the summative assessment and the formative assessment. They can also use the teacher-made test. All of them are part of the assessment curriculum because these are the tools that the school and the teachers need to evaluate the efficiency of the teaching process and to evaluate the understanding of the student about each subject. And as a teacher, we always think that our assessment tools are much to our learning outcome. Second to the last types of this curriculum is the learned curriculum. We always believe that if the student change, they have learned. So for example, from a non-reader to a reader, from not knowing to knowing, or for being disobedient or being a bully to being an obedient, that he won't bully a student again. That is how the learned curriculum works. And also, it is all it demonstrates higher order of the critical thinking and lifelong learning. Last is we have the hidden or implicit curriculum. It is called hidden because these types of curriculum is unwritten, unofficial, and sometimes it is unintended lessons and outcomes that the student learn in school. And this is the accidental values that they have learned which they make them a better individuals, so that the teacher should be sensitive or aware of this hidden curriculum. They should know how to include this in their written curriculum in order to bring the surface what is hidden. Because hidden is the soul and the heart of the students in all types of curriculum. So, that is all of the types of the curriculum. And for the continuation of the topic, let us have Paulina.
Thank you, Ma'am Roswell, and good day, everyone. My name is Paulina A. Molina, and I'm here to discuss the continuation of our report, which is the major foundation of curriculum. So we have 4 major foundation of curriculum. We have behaviorism, cognitivism, humanism, and sociology and curriculum. So first, we have behaviorism. The behavioral learning theory, sometimes known as behaviorism, is a well-liked idea that concentrates sa kung paano natututo ang mga bata. Ang pangunahing prinsipyo ng behaviorism is that all actions are acquired through interactions with the environment. According to this learning theory, ang mga pangyayari sa kapaligiran ay may mas malaking epekto sa pag-uugali than innate or minanang traits. Ang paggamit ng positive reinforcement ay isang typical na halimbawa ng behaviorism. Kung nakatanggap ang isang bata ng A sa kanilang spelling exam, bibigyan siya ng maliit na regalo. Ang mga estudyante ay mag-aaral ng mabuti at magsisikap sa future upang makuha ang kanilang reward sa kanilang pinaghirapan. So next, we have cognitivism. Ang cognitivism ay isang teorya ng pag-aaral na nagbibigay diin sa mga proseso ng pag-iisip. According to cognitivist learning theory, how our minds process, store and assess information determines how we learn. Kapag nakakuha tayo ng bagong kaalaman, nagagawa ng ating utak na ilipat ang kaalamang iyon at gamitin upang malutas sa mga issue o sitwasyon na hindi familiar sa atin. Most learning theories have this as their main objective, because it draws on research on the brain and the mental processes involved in learning and applying new information. Ang cognitivism ay tumutulong sa paglikha ng mas mahusay na mga programa sa pag-aaral para sa mga mag-aaral. Ang sinumang sumusubok na magturo ng bagong kaalaman o konsepto sa iba ay maaaring makinabang sa pagiging bihasa sa cognitivism. So next we have humanism. Humanism aims to involve the learner as a whole, paying attention to their intellect, feelings, social skills, artistic abilities, and practical skills during the learning process. The goal of education is for students to advance toward autonomy and the fulfillment of their potential, referred to as self-actualization. The importance of students' choice and control over their education is highly stressed in humanism. Learners are invited to devote as much time as they like, within reason, to a particular area of interest. Kapag ang paksa ay isang bagay na kailangan at gustong malaman ng mga mag-aaral, sila ay nagiging motivated and involved sa mga bagay na kanilang natututunan. So lastly, we have sociology and curriculum. The goal of the sociology curriculum ay para turuan ng mga mag-aaral tungkol sa kung paano nakikipag-ugnayan at gumagana ang mga societies and group interactions. Students become familiar with the sociological imagination sa pamamagitan ng pagpapakilala sa mga pangunahing idea, theoretical na pananaw, na nagpapatibay ng mas malalim na pangunawa sa mga koneksyon sa pagitan ng personal na karanasan at ng social environment. The emphasis of courses is on the dynamics of the power and inequality on local, national, and global levels as they relate to race, ability, gender, and sexual orientation. Courses also introduce students to a variety of cultures and social structures. The principles of public sociology and social justice are highlighted in our curriculum. And for the continuation of our report, here is Mr. Mark R.J. Bakay.
Good day everyone, my name is Mark R.J. Bakay, and today we will talk about the foundation of curriculum. First is the philosophical foundation of curriculum. The philosophical foundation of curriculum influences the main goal of education, as well as the function of many participants. While all foundations give educational goals, philosophy explains how such goals are developed. There are many philosophies in education, but we have only a few to illustrate as presented by Ornstein and Hankins in 2004. There are 4 philosophical foundations of curriculum. First is perennialism. The objective is to educate the thinking person to develop intelligence. The teacher's role is to help students think with reason, or critical thinking, with a consistent focus on classical subjects, literary analysis, and considered curriculum. For example is the problem solving in math, or answering a real-life situation question, or peer evaluation or programs of guidance counselor. Next is essentialism. The goal is to promote student progress and innovation so that they can become knowledgeable. The teachers are the only experts on the subject, and it focuses on the 3 R's vital talents, which is the reading, writing, and arithmetic. So, for example, Brigada Pagbasa of DepEd for the high school enrollees. So, ginagawa nila ito para malaman nila kung yung student ba is knowledgeable or yung student ba is marunong magbasa bago tumungtong sa senior high school. Kasi as of now, sobrang halaga po ng skills na yon na yung bata ay mag-high school ng marunong magbasa, marunong magsulat, and also marunong din siyang mag-solve ng math problems. The third one is progressivism. The purpose of progressivism conceptual foundation is to promote present social existence. Teachers guide students' growth and develop as a lifelong learner. With the concentrate on multiple discipline subjects, progressivism is a learner-centered and result-oriented. So, for example, integration of values education to another subject, which are the core values, makadiyos, makatao, makakalikasan, at makabansa. So, because of progressivism, the student is concentrate and develop for the discipline subject, not like the math na parang mga problem solving lang siya, not like in English, reading ka, writing. On progressivism, tinuturuan yung student na makapag-concentrate din sila sa mga discipline subjects. And the last one is reconstructionism. The idea of this is to develop and recreate society's education for development. The teacher's job is to be a facilitator of transformation and reform. Lastly, it focuses on the current and future education system. For example, career guidance program. Sobrang halaga po na to, lalo na po sa grade 10 students and grade 12 students. Because of that, na-orient po sila kung ano ba talaga yung gusto mo, kung para saan ka ba talaga. Kunyari ako, nung grade 10 ako, wala talaga akong idea kung ano ba dapat kong kunin nung sa senior high school. And because of career guidance program, na-open up ako kung ano ba at para kung saan ba ako dapat mag-enroll, anong strand ba talaga. And on grade 12 naman, sa career guidance, mas na-open up kung para saang course ka ba talaga, anong course ba talaga yung mag-fit sa'yo mabuti, at kung saan ka ba talaga mag-grow and madedevelop. Next is the historical foundations of curriculum. Franklin Bobbitt, 1876-1956, presented curriculum as the science and emphasizes on the student's need. Curriculum prepares for adult and life. So, his book, How to Make a Curriculum, was the forerunner of others in the subject and had a great influence on school practice. Bobbitt formulated 5 steps in curriculum making. 1 is the analysis of human experience. 2, job analysis. 3, deriving objectives. And 4, selecting objectives. And for the last is the planning in detail. Whereat Charters, 1875-1952, considered curriculum also as a science, which is based on students' need and the teachers plan the activities. Charter's most significant contribution to the field of curriculum development came in the form of his activity analysis approach to curriculum construction. Activity analysis essentially involves specification of the discrete tasks or activities involved in any activity. Next is William Kilpatrick, 1871-1965. Viewed curriculum as purposeful activities which are child-centered. The purpose of curriculum is child development and growth. For him, the purpose of curriculum is child development, growth, and social relationship. He also introduced the use of small group interaction and the project method in which the teachers and student plan together. Next is Harold Drug, 1886-1960. Curriculum should develop the whole child. He emphasized social studies in the curriculum and the teacher plans the lessons in advance. Rugg made a significant contribution in areas of curriculum field, in promoting a scientific approach to curriculum development, in advancing the cause of a Deweyan-style progressivism, in remaking the social studies curriculum, and perhaps most. Next is Hollis Caswell, 1901-1989. Sees curriculum as organized around social functions of teams, organized knowledge, and earns interest. In the year after World War II, Dr. Caswell opposed efforts to develop a standard national curriculum for public schools, arguing instead for more differentiations in teaching methods. He called for strengthening university centers that influence curricula and teacher training. And last is Ralph Tyler, 1902-1994, believed that curriculum is a science and an extension of school philosophy. He was closely associated with curriculum theory and development and educational assessment and evaluation. Many considered him to be the father of behavioral objectives, a concept he frequently used in asserting learning to be a process through which one attains new patterns of behaviors. The history of the curriculum tells the curriculum planner how to develop and modify the curriculum, what to teach, and what should be the core material of the subjects, what objectives they want to achieve through the curriculum. History also tells them how the teacher should teach, what are the best practices they need to incorporate in curriculum teaching, and what kind of teaching need to be avoided. The third foundation of curriculum is the psychological foundation curriculum. It's based on the individual differences. Every student has its own unique personality, and they have difference in nature, so they cannot be treated alike in teaching learning process. Some may be fast learner, while others are slow. So, from the word unique and differences, ibig sabihin, hindi naman po tayo magkakamukha ng skills or ng coping mechanism when it comes sa learning. Tulad nga po ng iba, mayroong fast learner, may iba naman slow learner. For example, tulad ko, hindi ako mabilis matuto pag nagsi-self-study. Mas mabilis ako matuto kapag may nag-discuss sa harap ko, kapag maraming nagpapaliwanag sa akin. So, this one is the differences of a student. Na iba naman kasi na mas mabilis silang matuto pag nagsi-self-study sila than sa kapag may nagtuturo o may nagdi-discuss sa kanila. There have three major groups of learning theories. First is behaviorist psychology. Strict behaviorists believe that all the behavior are the result of experience. Any person, regardless on their background, can be trained to act in a particular manner given the right conditioning. From about 1920 to the mid-1950s, behaviorists became the dominant school of thought in psychology. So, behaviorist psychology, ito po, pumapasok po to dun sa mga student na iba po yung behavior pagdating sa school. For example, yung mga basag ulo, yung mga nagka-cutting class. Sometimes kasi yung mga behavior na nakikita nila sa bahay nila, nadadala nila sa school. Sometimes naman, dahil sa problema sa bahay, nadadala nila sa school, so naiiba yung behavior nila. Na sa halip na gustuhin nilang mag-aral, sa halip na mas mag-focus silang mag-aral, because of what happened outside sa school, nadadala nila yon. So, nagiging hadlang yon sa nagiging behavior ng student when it comes sa school. The next one is cognitive psychology. It's a branch of psychology that deals with motivation, problem solving, decision making, learning, memory, and etc. It's an area that focuses on the science of how people think. This branch of psychology explores a wide variety of mental processes, including how people think, use language, attend information, and perceive their environment. So, for example, meron kang student na sobrang husay na lagi siyang nagre-recite and lagi siyang sumasagot. And because of that, makikita mo talaga na may learning yung student and yung sa stage ng memory. And dito rin, pwede rin pumasok yung mga students na hindi naman sila ganun kahusay, pero because of motivation mo, na-motivate sila to learn something new, na-motivate sila na mas matuto pa, na kahit hindi sila mahusay, sabi nga, daig ng mahusay ang matyaga. So, because of the tiyaga ng bata, na-motivate sila na mas galingan pa, mas gustuhin pang mas matuto. And last, humanistic psychology, a movement in psychology supporting the belief that humans as individuals are unique beings and should be recognized and treated as such by psychologists and psychiatrists. A perspective that emphasized looking at the whole individual and stresses concepts such as a free will, self-efficacy, and self-actualization. Rather than concentrating on dysfunction, humanistic psychology strives to help people fulfill their potential and maximize their well-being. So in this part, dito pumapasok yung mga student with special needs. So sabi nga kanina, there are unique beings and shall be recognized and treated such like us. So dahil dyan, meron yung DepEd na yung SPED, which is the special education for the students na may mga special needs. And because of that, nabibigyan ng chance yung mga student and mga kabataan na may mga special needs na magkaroon ng ma-help to fulfill their potential and maximize their well-being. Nabibigyan sila ng chance to prove themselves, to improve and develop their skills kahit na nga na meron silang mga special needs. And last, on the foundation of curriculum is the social foundation of education. Draws upon several disciplines and fields to examine education, namely history, philosophy, comparative international education, culture studies, sociology, and political science. Social foundations inquiry helps to sharpen students' capacities to understand, analyze, explain educational issues, policies, and practices to improve education. And last, on the foundation of curriculum is the social foundation of education. Draws upon several disciplines and fields to examine education, namely history, philosophy, comparative international education, culture studies, sociology, and political science. Social foundations inquiry helps to sharpen students' capacities to understand, analyze, explain educational issues, policies, and practices to improve education. Ito naman yung mga activities na dapat gawin outside the classroom. Parang yung kasabihan na you cannot learn only inside the four corners of the room. Kaya sobrang halaga ng socialization. Focus nito yung mga extracurricular activities na pwedeng salihan ng mga students. Develop din dito yung multiple intelligence theory ni Gardner na walang batang hindi magaling. Lahat tayo may kanya-kanya tayong skills, may kanya-kanya tayong strength na kung saan because of socialization, na mas nade-develop siya and mas lumalabas pa siya. So, that's all. I hope you learned something new from me today. Once again, I am Mark R.J. Bakay.
Good day, I'm Galang Jeremy, and this is the continuation of our topic. So, what is curriculum conceptions? So, curriculum concepts can be used to examine a curriculum from numerous angles. So, it's merely a means of observing the definition of a curriculum. Is a curriculum focusing on the requirements of the individual, the needs of the social and cultural context, or the subject matter? It is stated that despite the 5 ideas, apparent incompatibilities, the framework incorporates elements from each of them. So next is the 5 conceptions of curriculum. So first is humanist. The humanist perspective was shown to have the majority of support from teachers, whereas the academic and technological conceptions had only moderate support. So nonetheless express some agreement with the social reconstructionist theory. The concepts used will improve comprehension of the pressures and controversies surrounding the current curriculum. The next one is the social reconstructionist. So the foundation of social reconstructionist education was the idea that society might be rebuilt under the control of the education system. So the goal was to either use education to build a utopian society or to transform society such that it adhered to the fundamental ideas of the political party or government that was in power. Next is the skills. The learner's intellectual and cognitive abilities should be shaped by the curriculum. So once the student has the abilities, they can use them in any situation and with various types of learning. The learner, the resources, and the learning process are all given primary attention, and the learner is viewed as interactive throughout. Technological. Technological conception is preoccupied with the development of means to achieve curriculum or educational goals. So electric conception is where curriculum workers find themselves aligning their ideas with two or more curriculum conceptions. So the last one is the academic. So the foundation of academic conceptualization is a single and subject-centered curriculum. So the traditional essentialist philosophy is where the concept of technology and the cognitive process originates. So depending on how it is applied to the learner, the progressive ideology may also influence the cognitive process. So here's Miss Brenda Hermosa for the continuation of our topic.
Hi, good day everyone. My name is Brenda de la Cruz Hermosa from BPED 3A. And I'm here to discuss the elements of the curriculum. And the elements of curriculum have four components, which is number one, aims, goals, and objectives. Number two, content of the subject matter. Number three, learning experiences. And also, number four, evaluation approaches. So, let's begin. So now, let's discuss the number one, which is aim, goals, and objective. So, education is purposeful when it comes to the things that are expressed at the several levels. And the goals are broad in nature. Goals reflect the purpose with outcomes in mind. And the last, objective reflects the most specific level of education outcomes. And for the example sa aims is to develop a moral character and personal disciplines of the students. At para naman sa goals, isa sa mga example nito is to develop a skills in reading, writing, speaking, and listening. And also, for the objective, is to describe the behavior to be attained in a particular subject ng isang bata. Number two, content of the subject. In short, the subject matter content is an integration of facts, concept, principles, hypotheses, theories, laws, and attitudes. Our subject matter contents includes cognitive skills and affective components. So in essence, a subject matter presented for consideration in discussion or a study is a process to gain a new knowledge. Through although mental or cognitive skills for psychomotor and affective attitudes. So like what I said earlier, nabanggit ko doon yung cognitive skills and affective. So now, iisa-isahin ko sila ngayon at kung ano yung mga under sa kanila. So, umpisahan na natin sa cognitive. So sa cognitive, ina-under na yung mga facts, concepts, principles, hypotheses, theories, and laws. So sa skills naman, ang mga ina-under niya is thinking skills and manipulative skills. And also for the last, we have affective. So sa affective, isa lang yung nakapaloob sa kanya. Ito nga yung realm of values and attitudes. Proceed to another column, which is learning experiences. So in learning experiences, activity-based teaching leads to the generation of more experiences. So out of the problem-based learning, especially if the problem or situation relates to the real-life situation. In case of experimental learning, the present learning is based on previous experiences. So dito naman sa learning experiences or experiential learning, ang example nito ay solving a problem, making decision, debating a topic, or designing a poster. Also, learning experiences include field trips, school projects, self-directed, research, and life experiences in general. For the last column, we have evaluation approaches. So in education, approaches are concerned with assessing the effectiveness of a learning teaching strategies, methods, and techniques. So, it provides feedback to the teacher about their teaching or their learning and to the learner about their teaching. So, dito naman sa evaluation approaches, ito na yung pinakadulo kung saan nagkakaroon ng feedbacking between the students and the teacher or the teacher about their teaching in their students. And for the continuation of our report, here Mr. Laverne Gio.
Thank you, Ms. Hermosa. By the way, my name is Laverne J. Rivera from BPED 3A. And for the continuation of our discussion, I'm going to discuss the curriculum sources and influences. So let's start. Curriculum sources identified by Tyler on 1949. He identified three major sources of curriculum, which is the subject matter, society, and learners. This curriculum sources needs to be considered and examined and identified the five elements of curriculum, which is the goal, content, learning, experience, and evaluation. So let's discuss the society as the sources of curriculum. Society is important source of the curriculum. Teachers need to understand the cultural, socio-economical, and political condition of the people. Understanding the context is important in developing an irrelevant and responsive curriculum by Tyler 1949 and Nichols 1978. There are multiple societal changes that must be taken into account in the curriculum. Science and technology could continue to have impact on our daily lives. With the scientific discoveries, new technology, and new information arrive almost every minute of the day. The new economic world has issues and demand. For example, in order to provide or develop a world-class employees, 21st century skills and new forms of knowledge should be developed at the curriculum. The next is the learners as the source of curriculum. Knowledge about the learners is one of the major sources of the curriculum. Although the curriculum content is set by the Department of Education, Commission on Higher Education or CHED, or the Technical Education Skills Development Authority or TESDA. Educator and curriculum developers have tried to align the curriculum to the needs and nature of the student. The best example of it is the skills that the learners that need to develop. For example, on TESDA, they need to develop something that they can do. For example, on IT, they need to know more about information technology, and that will help the students to gain more knowledge about it. When faculty members their individual curriculums, unit plans, lesson plans, and as an interpretation of intended curriculum, students, motivational types of level, are the students from the different provinces have different cultures, language, learning styles, and needs. Students also different in terms of economic status and educational attainment. So we need the learners as the source of curriculum. The next thing or subject matters as a source of curriculum. Tyler 1949 identified the nature of the discipline or subject matter as one of the main sources of the curriculum. Different subjects unit terms of designs and content. There are specific skills and content that should be emphasized in each disciplines. And for the next topic is the curriculum influences. Curriculum influences is discovered or identified by Stark and Latuca on 1997. The three major factors that influence curriculum development are external, internal, and organizational influences. Understanding the different curriculum influences is useful in knowing the different factors that are needed in developing a curriculum. It provides the source of data and information for developing curriculum. Knowing these curriculum influences is useful in making the curriculum more relevant and responsive to the educational system of the Philippines. And these are the identified curriculum influences that I will show you. Students are considered the most influential among the different curriculum influences, especially in designing the implemented curriculum. The school vision, mission, and core values is very influential in developing curriculum. They are the fundamental basis in developing four elements of curriculum goals and objectives, content, learning experience, and the evaluation. Next is the admission and retention policy. These policies are the standards of the institution until they graduate. The next is the faculty. Faculty members bring with them with their educational background, experiences, expertise, and other personal and professional and political views on the institution. The next is the school administrator and board trustees. They play an important role in providing curriculum leadership in schools, colleges, and communities. Apart from setting and providing school rules, they administer the planning, implementation, and evaluation of the curriculum. The accrediting agencies, they are equally influential in basic education and in higher education like DepEd and CHED. Government policies and agencies. The respondents identified government policies and agencies as the most influential in the curriculum planning and development. The next is the demands. Market and demands needs of society. They are the needs of society that very influential in planning and developing curriculum. It is informative that the students are prepared in terms of knowledge, the needs and demands of the different institution of these influences on curriculum development. The alumni are very helpful in terms of donating money to support programs for the students, faculty, scholarship, professional chairs, facility, and financing students' activity. The ICT, the presence of the technology, especially the internet as of now, enables students and teachers to access almost the and learning. The church for religious schools, the different religious orders and the church play. The schools also offer institutional such as Bible subject, theology, and Christian living subjects. These subjects are required to all students. And lastly, the last among the influences are existing student support system, institutional campus ministry help, guidance and counseling services, health services, financial assistance, and scholarship provides financial assistance to deserving the students. and also the students. Presenter, you may welcome.
Thank you, Sir Laverne. So, for the continuation of our report, I'm Christine P. Reyes from BPED 3A. The topic that I'm going to discuss is all about curriculum design. So, first, what is curriculum design? Curriculum design is a term used to describe the purposeful, deliberate, and systematic organization of curriculum, instructional blocks within a class or course. So, in other words, it is a way for teachers to plan instruction. When teachers design curriculum, they identify what will be done, who will do it, and what is scheduled to follow. The next one is purpose of curriculum design. Teachers design each curriculum with a specific educational purpose in mind. The ultimate goal is to improve student learning, but there are other reasons to employ curriculum design as well. So, yun nga po, yung purpose ng curriculum design is to improve the student learning. For example, designing a curriculum for middle school students with both elementary and high school curricula in mind help to make sure that learning goals are aligned and complement each other from one stage to the next. If a middle school curriculum is designed without taking prior knowledge from elementary school or future learning in high school into account, it can create real problems for the students. So, the next one is types of curriculum design. There are three basic types of curriculum design. Number one is subject-centered design, two is learner-centered design, and three is problem-centered design. The number one is subject-centered curriculum design. It revolves around a particular subject matter or discipline. So, for example, a subject-centered curriculum may focus on math or biology. This type of curriculum design tends to focus on the subject rather than individual. It is the most common type of curriculum used in K-12 public schools in the States and local districts in the United States. Subject-centered curriculum design describes what needs to be studied and how it should be studied. So, the second one is learner-centered curriculum design. In contrast, learner-centered curriculum design takes each individual's needs, interests, and goals in considerations. In other words, it acknowledges that students are not uniform and adjusts to those students' needs. Learner-centered curriculum design is meant to empower learners and allow them to shape their education through choices. So, the last one is problem-centered curriculum design. Problem-centered curricula focus on teaching students how to look at a problem and come up with a solution to the problem. So, problem-centered curriculum design increases the relevance of the curriculum and allows students to be creative and innovate as they are learning. The drawback to this form of curriculum design is that it does not always take learning styles into consideration. Students are thus exposed to real-life issues, which helps them to develop skills that are transferable to the real world. That's all. Thank you.